This really was a historic prosecution and ruling. The DA here in Weld County was able to successfully argue that the man not only physically and sexually assaulted his young victims, but that in one case, he emotionally abused one so significantly that her brain was physically damaged, resulting in extra charges.
I'm a survivor, but I'm begging you not to make my sacrifice in vain.
The victims of Dante Larks experienced crimes so traumatizing, so disturbing, that the Weld County District Attorney's Office felt they had no other option but to prosecute the case in a way never done before. The court found Larks sexually, emotionally, and physically abused multiple people, including children, some of which were locked in a basement for days at a time to endure the abuse.
A part of me will always remain in that basement forever. I would be lucky if someone threw a pack of peanuts down the stairs.
For the first time, prosecutors successfully argued that the victim's PTSD resulted in physical injuries.
What my attorney did was significant. The research that she did was out of this world.
Psychiatrists were called to the stand, helping District Attorney Michael Rourke and his team prove that some emotional traumas like PTSD can cause physical damage to the brain.
The science has now caught up to the law. We now had scientific evidence to show that she had suffered physical harm to her brain, which was evidenced by her diagnosis of PTSD because of the abuse that she suffered at the hands of the defendant.
I will suffer from a diagnosis of PTSD for the rest of my life. I still struggle with the sound of footsteps above me. I panic when someone walks behind me.
The jury and the judge found Larks was guilty of child abuse resulting in serious bodily injury, sourcing the PTSD. Rourke said this proves criminals can physically alter their victims' brains, changing how future cases may be prosecuted.
That is, in my mind, and I believe most prosecutors' minds, a very aggravating factor that will be taken into consideration when charging, when trying cases, and when arguing for sentences before a court.
We should know, while the jury and the judge in this case determined that the PTSD qualified as physical trauma to the victim, the court made it very clear that not all cases of PTSD will qualify as physical trauma in future incidences. The convicted felon in this case, Dante Larks, was sentenced to 122 years to life behind bars. Reporting in Weld County, Dylan Thomas, covering Colorado First.